Hello and thank you for joining me today on The Political Conversationalist. My name is Ben Phipps and it's Friday, so we're going to do another brief update video on three big stories in American politics. And you know what? Let's just go ahead and get started with those. No introduction necessary. Firstly, we're still talking about Brett Kavanaugh, Supreme Court Justice nominee, Donald Trump's nominee. He gained a vote of cloture. Cloture is a word I've never heard before, so I had to look it up. It's kind of like a pre-vote, kind of like a vote that says, yes, we can go ahead and vote on this. Don't really understand why it's necessary, but according to what I read, it kicks off a 30-hour period of discussion and debate, and then tomorrow, actually on a Saturday, they're going to vote on whether or not they will appoint him to the Supreme Court. So, interesting to see how that turns out. The vote of cloture was 51-49, and although I couldn't find anything that specifically said who voted which way, I assume it went strictly partisan because there are 51 Republicans and 49 Democrats. The article I linked also showed, however, that one Republican senator will not be available to vote tomorrow, so even one person could swing the balance. I think that will be very, very interesting to see how that turns out. And if I had to make a prediction, I will say it'll be this 51-49, and that senator will show up, or 50-49, and he will not. I believe that it'll be a very partisan issue, despite the controversialness of Donald Trump. Brett Kavanaugh is extremely conservative in the way he does judicial things, and many of his morals and things align themselves with what Republicans say their morals are. So I can't see them voting against him just because he's Donald Trump's nominee. Second story today, unemployment rate fell to 3.7% in September. That's the lowest the unemployment rate has been since December of 1969. Now, on average, for the past year, every month has gained 211,000 jobs to the U.S. job market. So, what can we attribute this to? The article's from CNN, so it obviously doesn't attribute this to Donald Trump in any way, shape, or form. But we have to, of course, look at the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, which was very controversial. But it did actually give businesses a tax break, especially big businesses. And although that may not have been the best idea, it seems that finally some of them are using that tax break to create new jobs. Interestingly enough, despite steel and aluminum tariffs still being in effect and hurting some manufacturing, in fact, many manufacturing businesses, manufacturing sector, the sector added 18,000 jobs in September. So still growing, the economy is still doing good, and don't really know exactly why, but we can attribute at least part of it, in my mind, at least if you agree with me, we can attribute part of it to the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act. Alright, and this is the really big story I wanted to get to today. This is kind of why I sped through the first two. A man in Utah has been arrested for sending 3 suspicious letters, one to the Secretary of Defense, James Mattis, one to the Chief of Naval Operations, John Richardson, and one to President Donald Trump. They contained castor seeds. Initially, it was thought that they contained the extremely poisonous substance ricin, but ricin is made from castor seeds, so of course it would be an honest mistake or a good assumption that if you see castor seeds that it may or may not contain ricin. So it seems that for whatever reason this man sent these 3 letters containing these paste-like ground-up castor seeds in an attempt to poison these 3 people. And it's not a very good attempt. Firstly, he didn't properly make ricin. He just ground up castor seeds, which is very, very mildly poisonous. Not really poisonous at all, just enough to like make your stomach hurt if you ate it. I don't know why you would open a letter and eat the paste at the bottom, but if you're that kind of person, then this could have affected you. Now, what bothered me about this, what really, really bothered me about this is the lack of media coverage and the terminology used. 3 suspicious letters sent to blank, blank, blank. The other article I read on BBC was suspicious package posted to Donald Trump. Now, of course, these never really could have hurt anybody, but let's give credence where it's due. This is an assassination attempt. It was a mailed form of poison that was supposed to harm the recipient. Now, it may not have been a very good assassination attempt, but it was an assassination attempt. So what I would like to see from the media is a little bit of fairness in reporting. Had someone sent letters containing poison to President Obama when he was in office, that would have been widely reported on and extremely touted in the media. Yet, because every media source but Fox News is already predispositioned to dislike Donald Trump, it's kind of just fallen by the wayside as an unimportant story. But it is an important story. So you heard it from me if you didn't hear it anywhere else. Someone tried to assassinate the president, the chief of naval operations, and the secretary of defense. And the world kept on spinning. Anyway, thank you for joining me today. I hope you learned a little something. If you did, leave a comment, leave a like, subscribe. If you have a question, a comment, suggestion for a future video, you can always follow the link in the description through to my Facebook page, and you can email me from there. It's completely confidential, and I will respond as fast as humanly possible. I appreciate you joining me today, and I hope you have a blessed day.